Well, hello, my fabulous friends. I hope you're doing well. Well, people are really enjoying these life cycle series, so I'm going to wrap it up with Prince Harry and Meghan. And also, if you want more information on this cycle, on this type of life cycle, there's the basic beginner book is called Self Mastery and Fate with the Cycles of Life by the Rosicrucian Order Amorc, and it was written by Harvey Spencer Lewis. I will put a link down below. If you go look for it, make sure you get the Amorc edition. Not there's some rogue copies out there. Let's just put it that way. All right, and that's the primer. That is public information. All the rest is the you have to be a member of the Rosicrucian Order to learn the rest of the program. Let's say. All right, so without further ado, let's talk about Prince Harry, his life cycles. Now, his personality is Mercury. So Mercury, I know I go on and say they're grifters because they are, but Mercury people are also very intelligent. Please stop laughing. They enjoy scientific pursuits. Very um, they love reading. They're writers. They do e-commerce. The thing with Mercury people, though, is they are and can be evil geniuses. They attach their intellect to, let's say, criminal activities. They're fantastic thieves. They're fantastic scammers. They're fantastic BSers. Um, they like to stretch the truth, let's say, but that's not all. That's not all they are. Like I said, they're very scientific, intellectual. They love words. They love reading. They're writers. They love buying and selling. And if you find an honest one, you'll always get a great deal. And you'll feel like you walked away with a lot of value. And if you have a dishonest salesperson who has a Mercury personality, you're always going to feel like you're ripped off, even if you aren't. There's something about them. Let's see what else. I know that doesn't even sound like it's him, does it? Just all the bad parts. But that's a problem when you live a lot in your shadow side. And Mercury is one of the planets that has such a black and white shadow side. The other planets are the moon, of course, because the moon cycles. Well, that one's easy to see. Full moon, new moon, like, right? You see the cycles and they go through very fast. And the other one is Venus. A lot of people don't understand that Venus can be a real your shadow side of Venus can be very nasty too. It can be laziness, slothness, right? It could be that you have all these beautiful, luxurious things and you don't look after them. That's a shadow side of Venus. Or you dress sloppy all the time. You eat poor food. There's a real shadow side to Venus that a lot of people don't talk about a lot of times, but it's there. So that's the three: the moon, the moon and Mercury and Venus are buddies because they all have a dual nature, more so than just good and bad kind of thing. They just have a dual nature and they can spin through that dual nature within a day if they want to, versus the sun, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn are pretty steady Eddie. They don't necessarily have a dual nature, but they do have a shadow side. All right, I hope I explained that. All right. And thank you for hanging in here with this. I'm surprised so many people are interested in this. I can tell you, I've been using this. I've been using this system, it has to be over 25 years now, and it's never failed us. Never, ever, ever, ever. So I digress. So Prince Harry, he's a Mercury. So we see that his Mercury period is February 19th to April 11th. So that would be a great time for him to start a business, start a course. Mercury also rules students. Start a course, start to write a book. To take those scientific pursuits. That would be great for it. That would be like double blessings for him if he did that during that time. I see that. Let's go over some of the important parts of his life. Let's talk about Diana. Diana is a moon, as we've discussed in Williams. So this is when Diana would be really important to him. And it's interesting because we have Charles' birthday right smack in the middle of that. So that would be that tells me that Diana and Charles fought for his attention. That, sometimes parents play those kind of games. I'm not saying it was malicious or anything, but that would have been a time that, because Diana's was a moon and Charles' birthday is during Harry's moon cycle. They would have been fighting for attention during his moon period there. Diana passed away in his sun cycle, and so that shows us the spotlight was on him. No, sorry, pardon me. His Saturn cycle. What am I thinking? That's his birthday. I was getting something else with that. Diana passed away right in the middle of his Saturn cycle. Right in the middle of his Saturn cycle. So that is something that is deep, deep seated in him. And it's also very karmic. And it's also is teaching him a lesson. So maybe the point of, there's always been those rumors that Harry and Diana had a huge fight and Harry wasn't talking to her when she passed away. That could be true. Also, as you remember, if you've watched the other ones, things that are meant to leave you will leave you in your Saturn cycle. So this was a predetermined soul contract that Diana and Harry had, that Diana would leave in his Saturn cycle. Saturn is the taskmaster, and when someone leaves you during your Saturn cycle, usually there's some karma there involved. There's some kind of lesson that their life had for you. There could have even been a lesson in their death for you. But it's a deep, deep, deep seated pain, because Saturn's deep in the earth. That's right. Remember, I said things that are of the earth, under the earth. Minerals, oil, lead, iron ore, that kind of stuff. That's all ruled by Saturn. Also the color black, so think dark caves and that kind of thing, really deep seated inside the earth. So that was a soul contract, actually, that Harry and Diana had in this lifetime. William's birthday is right into his Venus time. This tells us that he actually looked up to his big brother. He actually thought his big brother was all that. He could have, looked up to him, and that, he is such a good looking man, and look at that comment in Spare. Oh, he's losing his looks or whatever. Like, what a weird thing for a brother to say when you think about it. I don't know any brothers really who comment on their other brother's looks. So I think, Harry did look up to William. Also, William is a moon like Diana, so he would have been, he would have felt that that William was a lot like their mother, could have been a second mother almost, and he wouldn't be wrong. Let's see. Of course, Charles falls into his his moon time. Charles falls into his moon time, and again, when you see that, when you see both parents in a sign like that, and especially how contentious they were, they would have been fighting, not fighting, they would have been trying to one up each other for Harry's attention. Oh, I bought him this watch. Well, I bought him, this thing. Oh, I took him here on holidays. Well, I took him here on holidays. He would have really felt a tug between which parent. He wouldn't have felt that his parents were cohesive in raising him. And I think that's where it becomes so, these cycles become so interesting in that how one child perceives the parents versus another child. And these cycles explain that. So even though they may or may not have been consciously doing that, that's how Harry would have felt about them. That they were never cohesive in raising him, fighting for his attention, etc., etc. And that was because that's during his moon time, his father's birthday. Let's get to some other important days. Megan is August 4th. So that's really interesting. Megan is a Mars. I'm going to do her reading next. But here, look at where Megan's birthday falls in his Venus time. He actually does think Megan is very beautiful and as a man should about his wife. As a man should about his wife. But the thing is he thinks that Megan is also glamorous, and he actually, might sound a bit weird, but it might make sense to some people. He might see Catherine in Megan, even though she's not like that at all. Because Megan's birthday falls during his Venus time, and we know Catherine is a Venus. And there's all these rumors that Harry kind of was in love with Catherine. So when he found somebody whose birthday was in his Venus sign, that's close enough. That's close enough. So, you and I can't see that, but he somehow projects Catherine onto Megan. Megan is a Mars, like I said, but we'll talk about her more next. Archie is a Sun, and Archie was born during Harry's Jupiter time. So that means Archie is going to elevate Harry's standing in life somehow. Or maybe he was meant to elevate it. It could even just be elevating it to fatherhood, for example. But Archie being a son, and so that's a spotlight on him, with Harry is going to elevate Harry's life somehow, or expand Harry's life somehow. That's to be determined. He's still quite young. Lily is a moon. So Harry's really going to see his mom in Lily. And Lily was born during, did I mix that up again? Oh yeah, no, during his Venus time. So Lily's a moon, born during his Venus time. Lily is going to be a daddy's girl. And he's going to make sure that little girl has every pretty dress that she wants. She's going to actually be quite spoiled. He's going to really spoil her. He might even try and give her, some of his mom's things that he has. And rightfully so. That's his daughter, and that was his mother's things, and but more so, she'll get more than Archie per se. Let's see, Diana. We already talked about Diana, Charles, Jupiter. Their marriage is a moon personality marriage, and they were married during their Jupiter time. Now their marriage, May. May 19th, I think it is. I try not to remember a lot of that stuff. Yes, so their marriage is a moon personality. I'll tell you right now, I would not want a moon personality marriage because moon is a quick cycle. That could be a quick marriage and divorce. If you look at some of your friends and whatnot that have been quickly married and divorced, see if their marriage is a moon marriage, and that would be if they were married between May 13th and July 3rd. That's the moon cycle. Now, not all moon marriages go south. I personally wouldn't get married during a moon. You shouldn't start anything in a moon cycle that you want to last a long time. Like you wouldn't buy blue chip stocks, for example. You wouldn't buy a home, for example, but you would move into that home in a moon cycle. Anything you want that goes really fast, any kind of quick contracts or things that you want over quickly, you would start during a moon cycle. So for them to get married during the moon cycle, and it's so interesting because everybody says, oh, a June bride is a forever bride. Go back and look at that a little bit. But their marriage is a moon personality, and it's during his Jupiter time. So again, that expanded his persona, and it has that marriage has expanded. Harry is everywhere, every day, all the time, for both of them. But it's definitely, Harry's starting this and starting this and starting this. It's just this constant expansion of things putting on his list of things that he's done before he got married. What were the things that he was done? You could count them on one hand. Sure, he was in the military. He started Invictus, and he did another thing with when he was working with Catherine and William. But other than that, and of course he was the bachelor and the party guy and whatever. But since he got married, look at all the projects. He's on Netflix, on Spotify, on this, on that, on Better Up, on whatever. So that marriage has actually expanded him in the world. Spare. I wanted to talk about Spare. Spare was released on January 10th, and that was during his Mars time, which is interesting because Megan is a Mars, and so that book was really aggressive and fighting words, and it and constantly that book will have to defend itself for forevermore. Just when Mars is very aggressive, it appealed more to men than to women, even though women follow the royal more so. You think of a lot of the commentators on it, like Tom Bauer and etc. Dan Wooten, those kind. More of the Piers Morgan, they're more aggressive against Spare than some of the women were, and that's because he released it during his Mars time. Even though the book itself has a Venus birth date. Megxit was during Mars, January 8th. Was during their Mars. That was a very aggressive move. And you think about Megxit, how aggressive that was. And that's Meghan's Mars energy was activating Harry during this time. So his book Spare is released. They do Megxit during this time. And those very aggressive towards his family. Very poke you in the chest. Very warrior, almost like even think how Megxit went down there. We're doing it our way. You're not the boss of me. I'm telling all this book. You're not the boss of me. And just even look just recently with the interview on Good Morning America. Now he's being aggressive that he wants back in, that, oh, I love my family and I'm presenting the olive leaf, right? And he's being more aggressive and towards the males, towards William and towards Charles, but especially towards Charles. So I find that really, really fascinating. And now he's out of his Mars time and we're into his Mercury time. So don't be surprised if things kind of settle down a little bit in that aggression, because also we don't have Megan's Mars energy activating that. Oh, and Oprah was also, the Oprah interview was here in his Mercury time. Well, what did I tell you? Mercury times, do not believe the salesman. Um, uh, Grifters, liars, thieves, and how there was 17 lies in that interview, and look at what's happened since that interview when he was called, oh, and he says, oh no, I didn't call my family racist. Yeah, it's because that was during his Mercury time. In his mind, he didn't, everything is fine. Everything's fine. Like, it's okay to exaggerate the truth a little bit. And that's during his Mercury time. And he's a Mercury. So, if Megan would have been smart, she would have let Harry talk more during that interview. And look at what's happened to that interview since then. You can't find it anywhere on Oprah's website. She never talks about it. But it doesn't really, really go away, does it? So that's during February 19th to April 11th. He'll be going into his strong time right now. What's today? The 21st. Yeah. So he's going into his strong time. If Harry was switched on a little bit, this would be the time that he goes into selling himself about something, but as long as he's truthful with it. Like I really want to reiterate, because I did have some comments. Not all Mercury people are like that, but they do have the tendency to be like that. And depending on who they're with or what they're doing will depend what side of Mercury that they're playing. And I'm thinking with his Mars aggressive wife, it's not bringing out the best of Mercury personalities. Let's see, another thing. Also, the Queen passed away during his Saturn time. The Queen passed away, so that would have been his second mother during his Saturn time. So there also another lesson, and it's so interesting that he signed that Megxit agreement with the Queen, and that agreement is still teaching him lessons. That you, just because I'm gone doesn't mean that I'm still not teaching you a lesson. So he, in some respects, he lost both his mother figures during his Saturn time. So he has a real mother wound. Mercury also, you have to remember, Mercury is her male and female. I'm really tired. We're on the move and we're traveling. So that's another reason you're getting these and not the tarot table. So hermaphrodite, and it's interesting that all this female injury is happening to him here in this Saturn time. Along comes this male energy, this Mars energy to take over. And it's not doing his Mercury any favors whatsoever. What was I going to say here? Okay, so William is a moon, and what was I? Oh, and Endgame. Endgame came out during his moon period here. So you have to wonder if that was even a bigger hit against William. Um, and Catherine. Catherine is also during her birthday is during his Mars time, and Megan is Mars. So we've got some kind of triangle going on here between Catherine and Megan and Harry, and the energies that are going on, and how he's projecting those energies onto each of these women, and of course Mars and Venus. Well, we all know those are opposites, right? We all know those are opposites. So what else? Oh, Invictus. Invictus has a Saturn personality, but he started Invictus during his Mercury period. So that was smart to do. He started Invictus during his Mercury period, so it was absolutely really smart to do. But with Mercury's dual, Invictus has flipped to the other side. You see where that duality is? It's not just, oh, sometimes Invictus does good and sometimes it does bad. No, it's completely flipped. It's completely flipped. And that's what happens during Mercury season. Started off as a great idea, started off as a great money maker, started off as a great idea. He could sell it, right? Mercury salespeople. He really had a great time selling it. And yes, I know William had a big hand in it, but Harry was the face of it. And that was perfect that they picked that time, because that was Harry's Mercury time, that he could sell it to big donors and sell it to the public and sell it to the military. And it was all on the up and up. And then something happened and the Mercury flipped. And now it's grifting. It's not just, 1 year it does bad, 1 year it does good, 1 year it does great, 1 year it doesn't do so great. Oh, the 2 years in a row it does great. No, that's a whole different story than it completely flipping. And look how many people are starting to notice that it flipped, that now it's just a piggy bank for Meghan and Harry. And it wasn't like that before he met his Mars wife. Yeah, anything aggressive that Harry has done has been during his Mars time, and that's because his wife is a Mars, and she pushes him to that. I find it, one of the things I was going to point out, I was doing a lot of card readings on Harry, and around Christmas time wasn't looking good for Harry, and that's during his moon time. And one of the things I neglected to mention when I was talking about moon, it rules liquids, and moon people, out of most of the signs, actually out of all of the signs, moon people have the highest tendency to become alcoholics. And it's very easy to overindulge during your moon time, during the year. So go back and have a look at that and see. Now his moon time is over the Christmas time, and it would be very, very easy to overindulge in alcohol or other fluids during that time. Also, because you're moody, and tie that in with him being a Mercury, you could be looking at some depression, and sudden changes. I don't know. I just saw that and I thought that was really interesting. And then when I was reading, I was like really, really worried about him. And then he comes out guns a blazing. Well, that's his Mars time. He got over it. Let's see what else. What else can I see here? His grandmother. His grandmother's birthday is during his Jupiter time. And I think in some respects Queen Elizabeth protected him, and she was very good for him, and expanded some things for him as well. Let's see, his grandfather was during his Venus time. Interesting that he looks like to me, he looks like Philip. He looks so much like Philip. And of course, Venus rules the face. So that's kind of interesting there. Philip's birthday is in June during his Venus time, and they actually look quite a bit alike. And if you go back to William and Diana, they look alike. They're both moon people. So try that in your family. Again, I will post the birthdays and see who's who and if they look alike or if they have, mannerisms that are alike. Let's see, what else was I going to? Um, hmm. I think that's about it. Um, yeah, I think that's about it. What else? Oh, the coronation, Jupiter. Look at that. The coronation, what his dad's a Jupiter. The coronation was done during his Jupiter time, and he just had to be there. He just had to be there because that's the time that his father is important to him. That's his Jupiter time, and his dad is a Jupiter. And during his dad's coronation, he just had to be there for his dad. I'm just looking here. That just reminds me. Oh, this again, the Mars. He was quite aggressive that he had to come see his dad. He wasn't, sorry, my dog is acting up again. He had to come and see his dad. He was seeing his dad come hell or high water. He wasn't listening to anybody else. And I have a funny feeling his wife pushed him to do that. Um, let's see, what else? That's about it. That's about it. I gotta go because my dog here is acting up, and I'm finished anyways. Okay, so I'm gonna do Megan's next. Thank you very much for listening, and I sure appreciate you. And I'm so sorry I have to cut this short, but I have to attend to her. Thank you. We'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.